Alright, this morning I sent you all an email, and what I put in on it, it's not a big thing or anything, but do I have it? Okay, well, I don't even know where I put it. But the point is, oh, there it is. Okay. I sent in there a copy of my mock-up for the electronic portfolio. Now, remember from yesterday, because I went over this with you yesterday, so let me open this up again. Okay, so I won't. That what you have to do when you are creating your electronic portfolio at the end of the year, the first thing that you should start with is to come in and create the balsamic mock-up. All right, so I sent you mine, and it's, believe me, it's nothing fantastic at all, but I'm going to sit and quickly run it for you. Okay, so here is the, let's take it from the home page. Here is my home page, and you can see it's set up so that I've got, the brand here. Here's my menu. There's going to be a picture of me, and I got it set up that there's 3 columns of text. Then at the bottom, we've got the social media. For some reason, and you have to tell me if you have these problems also, I had no problem with these icons, except for some reason, my LinkedIn icon won't show, and I don't know why. And I went online and I looked it up, and they said sometimes there's these ad blockers that come in there, and for some reason they tend to not allow you to see certain icons. I've not seen that happen before. All right, so that's the first page. Then there's the About page. Okay, and as you can see, not much to it. I just put some text in here. And again, the social media icons down at the bottom. Then the portfolio, and I know this looks kind of ugly. Okay, and again with the social media icons broken up into the different areas. And then finally, the contact form. All right, with something like this. Now, I don't want yours, when you do yours, and I'm saying this right now. I know James isn't here, but I'll say it again before the end of class. This is a template you can use if you want to. Yours shouldn't look like this. Yours, as I've mentioned, should be an extension of you. All right? If you think, yeah, I don't want to do anything like that, what you did stinks, that's fine. And if you feel that way, that really is fine. I have no problem with that whatsoever. I literally spent about 10 minutes creating this, and then maybe an hour creating this. So this is basically what goes with it. So there's the brand, there's the home page, there's the About page, there's the portfolio page, and there's the contact page. All right. At a minimum, you should have these 4 pages unless you decide to do your site as a single page. All right. So, going back to the home, as you saw where I showed you before, there's the picture, and I have 3 things of text. Now, yours is going to be more than that. I don't expect there to be a picture of you on the home page, especially a picture like that one, but it's the only one I could find of me that I had. All right. But you should have, whether you do it like this or you do it some other way. All right. Like what? Well, maybe you've decided you want to incorporate a slideshow someplace into here, whatever it happens to be. You might have your picture up here, then down here, you might have, the class, the topics that you've gone over. And you might have a slide of HTML5, because you can go out to Google Images and find that image. There's an HTML5 image, there's a CSS3 image, there's a JavaScript image, there's a jQuery image, there's a Bootstrap image, etc. You want to do that, that's totally fine. There should be at least some writing on this page. I should have put more on here. I know I've got my name there, but you should have something. This is the first page that people by and large are going to see when they look at your portfolio. And there's many years ago, and maybe you've heard this already. I'll always remember this old commercial for Head and Shoulders shampoo, where their tagline was, "You never get a second chance to make a first impression." That's what this is doing, especially in this age of COVID. We don't know. It's looking better and better, of course, all the time. But we don't know if this summer, for example, let's just say you decide you want to start contacting some places and seeing if they have internships, whether they're paid or unpaid. All right? Chances are pretty good when you do that the first time or two, it's going to all be done electronically. So if you hear something from somebody, all right, you've got a friend who works at a place or a parent or a relative or whatever, and they let you know. Well, this is the kind of thing that you can send in. Of course, you can always send in a resume and a cover letter, but let's just say you do that. All right, you might want to then say in the cover letter, and there is a link to my portfolio at, and then even put the same link in your resume. Does that make sense to everybody? Because the way that the world is working today, all right, especially in this profession, more and more people don't want to sit and just look at, they don't want to just look at text. All right, so they don't want to see, you don't really want their first impression of you to be this. All right? So it's really important, and again, that you have a home page. It may change over time. You may change over time. All right? You may decide you're going to grow your hair out, cut your hair, grow a mustache, grow a beard, whatever. That doesn't really matter. But it should be a snapshot of you in time now, and then on your home page, you should also put whatever you think is significant there. So I did this. I set this up as a footer. You don't have to do it like that. All right. You might want to, for example, I've seen these already where people put their links up here, all their social media links. You do it wherever you want, however you want to do it. All right. And to show you this, if I go back and look at the page source, what I did, and I don't know why I do some of the stuff I do sometimes, but I just put all of the styles for each page just on the page themselves. But I really should have done it in just one file because I'm using most of these styles on every page. So you really should do that as well. All right. But when you look in here, all I did was I went in and I grabbed the Navbar. I don't remember if I used the Get Bootstrap. I had some problems with that, so I just went and looked for responsive Bootstrap for Navbar, and I used that. Now, when you do this, again, you can see that it is responsive when you look right there. All right, and it's just big right now because I've made my size bigger. All right, but again, when you look at this stuff, would you rather have this stuff centered or would you rather have it to the right? There's ways that you can do that. All right, do you not want to have your name right here and have it say portfolio? But you want it to come down here someplace and you have your own logo? You can go out and, for example, my initials are JPS. I've literally typed that in already to Google Images. You can do that and get your a little screenshot or whatever you want to call it, a little image of your initials, however you want to do it. I've seen people before where they've got literally a little thumbnail picture of themselves, and they put that there. All right. However, the best way that you think it is to set it up for yourself. So let's see. So when you look at this, again, I didn't put much stuff in here. All right. And my footer on every page is the same. I brought in Font Awesome. That's pretty much an acceptable thing today. I mean, are there other ways you could do it? I suppose you could go out to Facebook site, literally take a picture of their image. The problem with doing all that kind of stuff is they're probably not going to be the same size when you go and do that. And it may look unprofessional. All right. So that was the first page. Then the second page, which was even easier. All right, because it's just all text. So when you look at that page, again, most of these styles are the same. Like I said, I should have just put them in a generic style sheet file. I didn't. And I came up here, and what do I have? I've got the Bootstrap CSS up here. I've got the Font Awesome CSS up here. Down at the bottom, I just used the generic starter file that you can get from getbootstrap.com. And if you look at that, it says that you do it this way or do it this way. One of them includes Popper and a bunch of other stuff. I think it was the second one that I used. All right. But again, this one's even easier because it's all text. All right. Then we go to the third page, which is the portfolio page. Now, I don't like the way this looks at all. And you can see I just went and made a bunch of copies of stuff. Mine don't go anywhere. Yours should. All right. And it doesn't have to say show. You can have whatever you want to have on it. But, what I've seen people do in the past, and I think this is effective, okay, is either you make this clickable and it goes to your GitHub repository, or you make this clickable and it goes to your GitHub repository. And let's say you're using GitHub pages. So maybe if you click here, it goes to the repository. If you click here, it goes to the actual site out on the internet in GitHub pages. Remember, whatever you put out there, potentially this is stuff people are going to look at. And when they're deciding whether or not to even bring you in, for example, for an interview, this is what they're going to be looking at. All right. Did you do this? Did you do that? The problem is you never know exactly what a company is looking for. All right. But like I said, these don't go anywhere. And I played around with it. I cut the size of the buttons down, etc. But you'll see it too on here. When you go down the bottom, I still have the social media stuff. All right. And then finally, for the last page, the contact, I just made a generic form. I used one of the Bootstrap forms. But what you should notice is every page on here, to my knowledge at least, every page on here. So you can see that's shrunk down as much as it can. So that is responsive. Maybe not fantastic, but it's responsive. All right, I go to the portfolio page. Now I'd have to play with that. All right, because I didn't think about making it responsive until this morning. But so my CSS example should go underneath here. Then the Bootstrap examples underneath there, etc. All right, but it still is responsive when you look at it. All right. The About page, same kind of thing. Feel free to come in here and work on this stuff. And when you make it responsive, either use media queries or use the Bootstrap grid system or use both, depending on how you want to set it up. All right. And then finally, again, the home page. It's not fantastic. It does the job, for lack of better words. Now, my question to you, this is the time for you to answer this. Is there anything about this assignment that doesn't make sense to you? Is there anything about this assignment that you have any questions on? All right. So one last time, and I want to be done. It's 8:22. I want to be done by 8:25 talking about this. And where is that? There it is. So for the last time then, this is it. Okay? So what should you be thinking of? Don't even worry about putting it out onto iwt.rankin.edu. Get the thing done first. Test it first. Make sure it looks the way you want it to look. And when I say test it at a minimum, test it. And remember, you can always go back in here. And I did not do this. But you can always go in here. You can hit your F12 key. All right, and in your F12 key, you can come over to, which one is it? Right here. And you can toggle your device toolbar, all right, and you can see how it looks on different medium. So this, how it would look on a Galaxy, how it would look on an iPhone, etc. It's not going to be perfect, all right. If you want to, say, if you want to try to do this, send it to your own phone and take a look at it on there and see what you think it looks like. More and more people, when they're looking at these things today, they're either walking around and they have an iPad or a tablet, or they're just looking at it on their phone. All right, I do know people who are HR managers, and they live by their phone. All right, so you want to make sure that it looks decent on the phone. All right, so remember, 30 points for this mock-up. 30 points for basically for putting it out there on the IWT Rankin server. All right. It must contain these pages. I just showed you a home page. I showed you an about page. Now the resume, I would have put a link in there. I didn't show that, but I would have had a link either on the home page or on the about page. I've seen people that they take the link to their resume and they put that down in their footer. So it's on every page. All right? Do you want to do that? It's up to you. Again, one thing that we try to do all the time is, in an ideal world, I'll get 7 of these in a week or so, and they'll all look really different. That's good. All right? That's why I don't want to sit there and say, let's do this. Now let's write this page. Now let's write this page. And you can do it all from scratch. I had a student, Ethan Wilson, who came here. He graduated now, I'd say 3 or 4 years ago. And he had a really, really, I thought, nice looking portfolio. All right? He did it with Bootstrap. It was very professional looking. He decided the last semester, he finished most of the work. He was always one of the first guys done with things. And what he decided to do was go back and rewrite his whole portfolio, and he did it all using just CSS, JavaScript, and HTML. He didn't use any Bootstrap. It looked very similar to what he'd had with Bootstrap, but he said it was a great learning experience. Now, I wouldn't expect that from you right now, but if you want to do that, you can do that. All right? Okay, so again, the other thing it says in here, remember, if you do decide that you want to go in and you want to use Mobilize, I'm not going to go over how to use this. All right? But very quickly, and I mean very quickly, so if I come in here and I say Sites, and I say create a new site like this, and it asks, you may or may not get all these themes. So let's see, I'm just going to skip this. I'm going to choose this, and I'm going to say OK. It comes up, and when it starts, click here to start. It's kind of hard to screw it up, right? But if I want to go in and put in a menu, literally, it's drag and drop. Now I've got a menu. And this would be, again, of course, this would end up being your brand. So if you want to change the writing that's in there, I haven't worked with this for a while, but you can double click on it and just start typing. You don't like the picture, you can get rid of the picture. Everything is based around this gear up here that says block parameters. So if I click up here and I decide, for example, when you look over here, okay, what do I want? That, I can do anything. Transparent, I can change it. All right, now I made it light. All right, I can change it. I can make it sticky or not sticky, etc. I can show that button that's right there. I can decide I don't want the buttons. Boom, the buttons are gone. Okay, I can come up here and I can add other pages. I can click up here and I can change the verbiage that's up here. I can do basically anything I want. Then I just come down here. Now I decide, for example, let's just say, I decided I want to put a slideshow in on this home page. Well, if I go down far enough, I don't remember where it is, but images and videos, there's a thing down here, sliders and galleries. All right, so here's a slideshow. That's a full screen slider. All right, now that's not exactly, I'd have to do some manipulation with it, but you can see this. That's all I've done, is just click 2 buttons. And if I decided that that was good, and then I wanted to just put in a footer, I could go down towards the bottom of the page. And there's all sorts of stuff in here. I'm just skipping 99% of it. All right. But I could go down here, and if I decided that I wanted to put in a footer, I could go, here's a form. If I decided I want to use a page for my form or whatever, just come down here, drag it in, there's a form. All right. Now, one of the things you'll find when you use this is there's not a lot you can do with this form, just so you know. There's a couple different forms, but there's not a lot you can do with them because it doesn't let you monkey around a lot with the CSS. All right. And then finally, the social media, if I decide, that's pretty good, I want that down here too, boom. Now I've got social media. All right, I can put all these in and then just take what I want and don't take what I don't want. If I've got testimonials, I'll drop those in there. I could fix those, put in pictures of people I know, etc. And then finally with a footer, they've got some very simplistic ones and they've got some that are a little bit more complex. Let's grab one I'm not even going to grab that one. So if I don't want this anymore, I just click over here. Where is it? There's the garbage can. And I say boom, and now it's gone. All right, and then I come over here, yeah, I decide that even though there's a lot on here, I'm going to use this. Boom. Now I've got a footer. Now I'd have to go in and change all this, but literally, I think you all know this, I've spent 5 minutes on this. All right. Then I come over to here, and I click the Preview in Browser button, and there's my site. Now again, it would need a lot of work, but I've done virtually nothing, and I've got a site up. All right. Now, if you decide to do this, and I'm only saying this, so just tune me out if you're not going to do this. But if you decide you're going to do this, then what you want to do is when you get to a certain point here, I'm going to close this, and you get back, where am I? When you get back to here, you'll eventually want to click this Publish button. The easiest way to do this, if you're going to do it, is to publish it. What you do is you create an empty folder, like called Portfolio or something like that, on your home drive, and you just tell it to publish it right there, and it does it. That's all you got to do. Now, the bad thing is that they make it real hinky. If you decide later that you want to go and, I want to make some modifications of it, you got to get rid of that folder and basically go through the whole process again. All right, that's one of the things I don't like about this, but I'm not an expert on this. And they don't have a boatload of documentation on this stuff. All right, but it's out there if you want to use that. And again, if you don't like this slideshow, there's other ones that they have out there. Okay, I don't care if you use this. My hope is that by the time you're in your 4th semester, you're not going to use this. And my plan, I told this to Keegan yesterday, and he said he thought it would have been a good idea, but we started really late in the semester using a product called React. We've only been working on it for 2 weeks. But what I'm what I'm hoping for in fall is that we will be able to go in and use React, okay, and actually put our stuff out on the internet there. So, and I talked about this yesterday, excuse me, but do I have it out here? Yep. This is a thing that we built earlier in the semester. Now, I was playing with the colors. I know it's ugly, all right? But, and there's a lot of ways this could have been done, but if you look in here, I made this really big. But these are all the different, examples of, there's hundreds of different stocks that you can look up. So let's say, for example, I wanted to look up JCPenney's. All right, so I just come up in here and I type in JCP and I click the search button, and there it is. So we went out to an API to get this information. None of this information is stored on our machine. None of it. All right, and it was kind of a cheesy example, but there's an about page, and I put a simple slideshow in there. Again, it's by no means is it fantastic, and this picture didn't come out very well, didn't scale well. And then finally, we had a contact page, and I just grabbed a bunch of stuff from Get Bootstrap. And we've got some writing underneath it. You'll notice that each page also has a footer on it. So that's the kind of stuff I hope we're able to do that next semester. And then we will take that, we will use a different app that's called Heroku, and we'll end up putting it out on the internet again. All right, and then you may, for example, want to even start thinking about your own domain. You could check if angieshelton.com is available, for example, okay? And the only reason I'm saying that is one of my students who graduated last May is Luke Gosnell. And if I go out to lukegosnell.com, might take a while, but you'll see this is Luke's. All right, you can see, he's got the old hamburger menu, etc. He's got websites that he's worked on. Okay, he did this project on his own for me last year. All right, and he's got other stuff in there. But the point is, when he's out, this is kind of cool because he's able to, he still has a portfolio out there, but this probably is better even than any portfolio. All right, if there's no other questions, it's 8:30 already. You got the rest of the period.